La Jolla, California, baby. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Look at that. You know, I've played this music, and I'm sure I just can't I cannot tell you how much I love Colorado. Or excuse me, I love California. Like this journey started in Durango, Colorado. Look at that. You're like, we know, John, we get it. We've heard this story. I'm like, I know, but you never know when someone's going to start watching this. They might need to know that, man, I started out of heartbreak, dude. Heartbreak. Look at that, beautiful. You can't really see it. Just trust me, La Jolla is so beautiful. Got a car coming here. Let me kind of turn this off and kind of talk and tell you about, kind of do a little travelogue update. They're like, what are you doing? You're like, Texas plates, and what are you guys doing? I got to go to my $15 million home. Like, I'm trying to show people some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. They're like, you better back up because this is where I live with my... All right, so here I am backing up here, trying to do my little travelogue and share some of my journey with you. In fact, I was talking earlier about Durango and how much I love Durango. I always compare every place to Durango. Nice little Tesla. And Teslas are like so common up here. All right. In fact, I was talking to my brother recently, and he was asking me about San Diego. I said, well, I live in La Jolla. That's where I'm based out of. And I said, really, San Diego is the Colorado. It's the Durango of the Pacific. So think of California. Everything you think of California, the surfing, and just the beauty and the landscape, and take Durango, Colorado, and put it in one place. And that's La Jolla. And then LA is just LA. I mean, LA is kind of it's just an industry town. A lot of entertainment, obviously. A lot of, and then San Francisco. San Francisco is kind of, how would you describe San Francisco to somebody that's not from there? The thing, San Francisco is one of the most pretentious places I've ever lived. I mean, if you could suck your own dick, and it could become like, in fact, there's probably a meetup where people just suck their own dick and smell their own farts. In fact, Google, there's a, I think it's South Park, where they were kind of spiffing on, and they're talking about San Francisco and how pretentious it is, and they do this thing where, like, San Francisco loves the smell of their own farts. And literally, like, I've never lived in a more beautiful city than San Francisco that was so pretentious. And then where San Diego is more of like Colorado, like, dude, we just love the beach, we love nature, we like our nice cars. There's such a cool vibe of San Diego. If you like Austin, put some perfect weather. You're like, we get it. So here we go. Let me, but I miss Colorado, and Colorado, Durango specifically, will always be near and dear to my heart. In fact, I'm going to go running. It's in and out. You can come with me if you want. Oh, by the way, here's the commercial. If you like this content and you would love to contribute, next time you go to In-N-Out, whatever you spend at In-N-Out, drop me at PayPal. Just drop me some jack, or go to Starbucks. Whatever you spend at Starbucks, just whatever your receipt says, drop that to me at PayPal. I would really appreciate that. Or go to Starbucks, and whatever you spend, give it to a homeless person. You always, I've talked earlier about how homeless is kind of near and dear to my heart. And when you work with homeless people, you always want to give them $5. You never want to just give them $1. $1 is like hello. $5 gives them a cup of coffee, gives them a bathroom, dignity. So the difference between you and I, five minus 1 is 4, but for them, getting $5 and getting $1 is night and day. So I talked earlier about homelessness and how this journey all started with #MRA. In fact, and then I went from beautiful Durango. I did a lot of trading out there. In fact, I was telling my mom kind of a funny story today. I said, when I left Colorado and I went up to Sausalito, I've been studying trading like more than any human should ever study. And there's no better trader than me. I mean, I'm not Series 6 or 63, but nobody has studied trading more intensely than me. And I've studied trading in Durango. That was one of the things that I did for a living. I just traded for a living. And when I wasn't trading, I was hiking and skiing. In fact, when I went up to Sausalito, I applied for the same trading job so many times that they were like, "Could you stop applying?" I've never had a person email me to ask me to stop applying, but I'm like, dude, you have no idea how good of a trader I am. And so, in fact, I even anyway, we'll talk about trading another time. But there is no human alive that has studied trading more intently and intensely than old Jonathan here. In fact, let me tell you kind of a funny story about Durango, because like I said, I loved La Jolla. It's one of my favorite cities. I would probably say Durango's my favorite. La Jolla is a close second. In fact, I would have a hard time even deciding which one's my favorite, because I love them so much. But if you want to hear kind of a funny #MRA story, because remember, I was just a regular mortgage guy in Texas. I ran a mortgage company for 10 years, and I got hit kind of blindsided with some legislation called Dodd-Frank. Dodd-Frank made it really hard for me to stay in business. And then right at the same time, my ex-wife decided she didn't want me around. So she's like, all right, guys, well, I'll just eliminate all access. So I kind of fought her tooth and nail, and I ended up losing custody of my children, and for no reason. And that's when I really started to really become sensitive to gender issues relative to civil trials. And for most people, gender equality, they don't even know what that means. And if they do think of gender rights, they almost reflexively think of the female role. But very rarely do people think in terms of gender equality for men. And so the men's rights movement's kind of a new thing. I'm probably one of the very few people that's even talking about 2503 and how important 2503 is. In fact, I was taking my walk today, my little La Jolla walk. In fact, I probably hiked maybe 2 hours tonight. In fact, I was thinking maybe I should get a 2503 tattoo, because no human being on the internet's talking more about men's rights and civil cases and the need for for fathers' rights to be respected. In fact, I want to tell you kind of a funny story about Durango. And I've said before, when Durango does something, Durango does it like there's no beauty. You'll never see a city that's more beautiful than Durango, Colorado. When you think of movie theaters, there's no movie theater more beautiful than the Gaslight in Durango, Colorado. And I mean, I would love to go back to Durango and show documentaries. And man, you have to go watch Valley Uprising. In fact, go watch Valley Uprising. Watch the caliber of people in Valley Uprising. It's a documentary on Netflix, Valley Uprising. And then you'll understand Durango. And then if you want to understand La Jolla, go watch the 30 by 30 documentary, Eddie Would Go. Eddie Would Go. If you were to really encapsulate this travelogue, it's Valley Uprising, Eddie Would Go, encapsulated in one YouTube channel. But here's kind of a funny, not a funny, but just to understand, when Durango does something, it does it amazing. A lot of people think, yeah, Colorado, I go to Breckenridge, and I love Denver and the Boulder. No, that's not Colorado. Durango is fucking Colorado. Okay? Boulder is where Princess lives. Durango is where dragons live. It's on the Animas River. I mean, holy shit. I mean, you want to go Carl Jung on you? I will. It's on the Animas River. I mean, Mount Smelter, Horse Gulch. You will not find a more beautiful winter city than Durango. And like I said, I would love to own 80%. I mean, one of these days, Gary Vaynerchuck, there's a guy online, his name is Gary Vaynerchuck, you can Google him. Gary Vaynerchuck loves to talk about, you just have to Google Gary Vaynerchuck. He talks about, how he wants to own the New York Jets, and that's kind of a driving motif in Gary Vaynerchuck's YouTube channel. In fact, here's my Gary Vaynerchuck moment. I would love to own 80% of the buildings on Main Street of Durango. I'm going to rename that city, that town, I'm going to rename Main Street in Durango, call it the Fibonojji Lane, and I'm going to keep the Gaslight, but I might eventually remodel and make it where they show four movies. Literally, I can't tell you how much I love Durango. Just such an amazing city. I don't know if it's just because it's so beautiful or because it's so special. kind of where I was in my life when I found it. But here's a great example of when Durango does something, they do it off the hook. Like when Durango, oh, by the way, not only do I want to own 80% of the buildings on Main Street, rename Main Street Fibonojji, I want to own the Gaslight, I'm gonna buy the Steaming Bean, and I'm gonna live above the Steaming Bean. The Steaming Bean is gonna become a comedy store, and I'm gonna bring comedy to Colorado. So there you go. There's kind of my Gary Vaynerchuck moment. Okay, so here you go. And the reason why this is black is I'm just at an intersection. So here we go. This is a hashtag MRA moment, and this is how Durango does hashtag MRA. Google Durango Herald, and then Google Judge Cake. I think it's a strawberry cake. Durango Herald Judge Cake Woman. And you're like, MRA? What's hashtag MRA? Does that mean he hates women? Does that mean he just, I don't get it. Civil trial? He wants equality in civil trials? He thinks that men and women are treated differently? He probably, what? Okay. Google Durango Herald Cake Judge. Now, if you want to see the poster child of why we need MRA shit, why there needs to be a focus on MRA, what happened in that case is exactly how women and mothers are treated differently than fathers. And when I went through my West Texas civil case, it was just my ex-wife's literally, she just went cunt. I mean, every ex-wife has a cunt. My ex-wife went cunt. She decided that she didn't want me around. I mean, surprise, surprise, ex-wives sometimes don't like their ex-husbands. So my ex-wife was allowed legally to eliminate all my excess for no reason. I mean, no reason. She called the CPS. Even the CPS gave me the, no, she's just a cunt letter. I mean, I'm one of the very few YouTubers that has a, nope, she's just a cunt. She's just a cunt. So the CPS came in and they said, no, she's just a cunt. There's no reason. But still, it's been over 3 years, and I learned the hard way that a woman, it's going on 3 years. 3 years since I have two beautiful, healthy, loving, happy, smart. My son is so smart. My daughter is amazing. They're so beautiful. I miss my kids. I miss my kids. In fact, and again, I went to Durango to heal, and little did I realize that there are very few MRAs out there. I mean, feminists are like, they're dime a dozen. Dime for 10 dozen. But MRA stuff, there's very few people. And I'm one of the very few people that actually went through that. I lost access to my children. I was given supervised visitation. I even found out even recently that the woman who was supposed to handle my visitation quit, and I wasn't even informed. I'm like, well, it's been a year and you haven't even set up the first appointment. So anyway, I basically was dealing with, you're like, what? Hashtag MRA? Okay, so here you go. Google two things, and I'll show you why we need to have an intelligent MRA discussion. Google the Durango Herald Cake Judge, and this will show you how women are treated. That story will show you how women are treated in civil cases, and in that situation, it was actually a criminal case. But it'll show you how that if you're a woman, man, there's a different justice for you than if you are a man. And just think, as you read that story, just think if a man did that. What would happen if a man did that? And would he be getting a cake baked for him? And then another story, it's really, really sad. Google Durango Herald Red Snapper. And it's a story of a woman who unfortunately lost her beautiful, beautiful daughter. And it was a situation where I think there was a drug interaction or something to the effect, and this beautiful 20-some-odd-year-old daughter passed away. And the mother, we'll just read the Red Snapper lady, and that's what happens to men too. We don't have a place for that. I mean, right now in the MRA conversation, we don't have a place for how men deal with loss. So that's why. Anyway, beauty for ashes, baby. Email me americano417@gmail.com. You guys have a great day. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Such a beautiful, beautiful beauty for ashes. Beauty for ashes. Beauty for ashes.